What's up, beautiful people? Jen here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jenna Lee, aka Jen Sparkly, commander of the Sparkle Army. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel, and I hope you'll hang out a while. Today is Friday, or depending on when you watch this, maybe Thursday, and that means one thing. This Week in Sparkle. This Week in Sparkle is a new-ish series that I'm doing, branching out from makeup just a tiny bit and just sharing some stories that I found on the internet and I found to be interesting, worth discussing, and I want to know what y'all think. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first story that kind of made me laugh was this week. Walmart announced that they will no longer be selling Cosmopolitan magazines at their checkout stands. They have deemed the magazine, and I quote, too sexy. Never mind that Cosmo has truly been a very sexually open, very sexually forward magazine long before it was really socially acceptable for women to discuss sex. I was an avid reader of it a lot when I was 18, 19, 20. I don't read it as much now, but Cosmo has always done the crazy out there sex stories, but in every issue there are always really important stories about women you may not hear of otherwise, issues in the news that can affect women. So Cosmo has always done a good service for young women, and I think Walmart has lost it a little bit, but you know, whatever. What do y'all think? Is Cosmo too sexy to be on a checkout stand? Let me know. Next up, in Utah, they passed the first law making what's known as free-range parenting legal. What free-range parenting is more of like an ideal or an ideology than it is a set of practices. And the idea behind it is giving kids lots of freedom with little to no supervision. For example, a mother in New York who lets her 8-year-old take the New York City subway by herself. Proponents of this say that we are coddling children, we're overprotecting them, we're not allowing them to become self-reliant and self-sufficient. Detractors from the bill say you are literally giving sexual predators carte blanche access to children by allowing this. I personally fall somewhere in the middle. I think in certain areas, if you live in a low crime area, of course you can let your kid walk to school with some supervision. Yes, kids need to learn how to be self-sufficient. Yes, kids do need to learn how to take care of themselves, and I think there are a lot of helicopter parents out there who swarm and overprotect too much. This free range thing, I feel, is going too far the other way, but I'm not a parent, so my voice doesn't really matter. Let me know what you think in the comments about free range parenting. Is it a good idea, or is it potentially very dangerous? Hey, Ray Ray. Next up, in the world of professional wrestling, Ronda Rousey, the former UFC punching bag, recently signed with WWE to apparently be pushed above all of their other hardworking stars. She evidently does have some heat in the dressing room, as she has her own dressing room. She does not socialize with the other women. Now, for those of you who are not wrestling fans, here's just a little encapsulated summary. In wrestling, it is tradition that if you are new, you introduce yourself to the people in the locker room. And because wrestling is so cyclical and you get better by working with people who are more experienced than you, naturally you want to gravitate toward those who have done this longer than you. You want to build those kind of friendships. Ultimately, these are people who you are trusting with your body, your career, and your life in the ring. And while everyone in WWE, of course, is professional and world class, when you come in as a celebrity signing and you carry yourself like you're above everyone, naturally you're going to rub people the wrong way. That goes without saying. Chris Jericho, very well-known professional wrestler slash musician slash wannabe actor, spoke out on a podcast about this, and I was a little bit surprised by his comments because he sided more with the machine, saying, these girls who are mad that she's getting their spotlight, you should be glad. Wrestling is all about money, and deal with it if she's getting the time that you worked for. It doesn't matter that you worked 300 days this year and missed weddings, funerals, birthday parties, etc., etc., etc. No, she should be able to fly in, be signed to this big money contract, twice what you're making half the appearances, a third the appearances you do, and you should be okay with that. Hearing Chris Jericho say that, at first I was really mad, and then once I thought about it, is there a bigger recipient of the WWE's coddling of mainstream media than John Cena, The Rock, and Chris Jericho? Now granted, Cena and Rock are legitimate bona fide celebrities. Chris Jericho is a massive, massive wannabe. He's one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. Go ahead, buddy. He's one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. I own all of his books. I think he is easily one of the most entertaining people in the history of sports entertainment. But to act like the industry has not carried itself without celebrity involvement is a fallacy. And it's an insult to the people who have slaved their lives away just to be successful in the business. Now, granted, anyone who knows me knows that I'm not a big Ronda Rousey fan. I don't think she's nearly the big star she thinks she is. And people love to tell me, oh, but look at all the press she got WWE. Yeah, for one day. And then she went right back to the D list. She's not a big deal. If anything, she's kind of a joke now because she dominated women's UFC when there was no competition. When real competition came in, she got her skull bashed in. Naturally, of course, she left UFC because she wasn't good enough. Either way, wrestling fans weigh in. Does WWE shamelessly shill for mainstream media attention? Or is Chris Jericho right? What do you think? Let me know. Next up, for all of my Queen's Court fans, next case. T.S. Madison has replaced Khia, the Thug Missus, with Tiffany New York Pollard. Now, the Queen's Court, for those of you who do not watch, is a regular YouTube series where T.S. Madison and Khia, the Thug Missus, the rapper, basically just go over pop culture stories, celebrity stories, a little bit of celebrity gossip. And what truly launched them into being well known was the fact that Khia does not have a filter. I don't agree with everything she says, but I will always agree with her right to say it. But she will go in on people, and she does not hold back. For people who love like juicy celebrity gossip and behind the scenes information, talk about Love and Hip Hop, Basketball Wives, a lot of those shows like Real Housewives of Atlanta, Toya Wright, Regina Carter, a lot of those type characters, Zonique, Tiny, T.I., all of those people, Nene Leakes, that whole segment of popularity and television is a big focus. It's highly entertaining. Now, I know that T.S. Madison and Khia kind of had it out a little bit over, depending on whose side you kind of are on. T.S. Madison thinks that Khia just walked out and had an attitude problem, whereas Khia thinks that T.S. Madison was trying to let too many people get in and work on the show, and they were incompetent, and she was tired of dealing with people who didn't know what they were doing. So, that said, clearly Khia is out, and I don't know what to think about the replacement. I'm not a fan of New York. I understand her place in pop culture history. Yes, she's a bitch, as in that's what her character is. I'm sure in real life she's probably very sweet if you're sweet to her. But I don't know that she has the type of personality that can carry a show with the sass and the attitude and the oomph of Queen's Court. Think I don't know that she's quick-witted in that way. I don't know that she has the way with words that Khia has. Khia has the ability to just really go in on somebody and say it in a way that is so funny. And it's rude a lot of times, but it's comical. Whereas I think Tiffany tends to just insult. That's yet to be seen. I could always be wrong. Maybe she turns out to be totally sassy and snarky and uproariously funny. I'm just saying that I've never seen that in any of the seasons of Flavor of Love. I've never seen it on I Love New York. I've never seen it in anything she's done, that she was quick-witted or sarcastic or witty. But again, I know that to a degree New York is a character. So, time will tell, and we will see how Tiffany fits into Queen's Court. Next case. As I always say, I always end these with a pet animal story. This one's going to be a twofer, and you'll see why. The next topic I'm about to discuss, I'll throw a trigger warning out there. It is about rattlesnakes. I know a lot of people have a huge phobia of that. And it does talk about animal cruelty. If that is something that you can't deal with, if it's a trigger for you, I understand. Skip ahead a little bit. That said, the Dodo released a video recently, as did National Geographic, on Sweetwater, Texas in particular, but Texas as a whole, doing what they call rattlesnake roundups. What this is, people go to rattlesnake habitats, pour gasoline into the rattlesnake's habitat, forcing the rattlesnake or rattlesnakes out. They then pack these snakes into boxes or crates for days, weeks at a time. Their mouths are then sewn shut, and they're killed. That's it. There are people saying that it helps with overpopulation, and I think there are some roundups who use the snake venom and send it off for antidote, which is absolutely necessary. You can never have enough anti-venom. I get that. But what really turned my stomach was at this rattlesnake roundup, there is an exhibit where children can paint their handprints on a wall in rattlesnake blood. No, I'm not kidding. I understand that rattlesnakes are dangerous. Snakes are my number one biggest fear. I am terrified of them. But I don't wish to hurt them if they are not a threat to me. I think God created all animals, and ecosystems are their own system of checks and balances. This is not just our planet. It's just not. Off subject, but tangentially related, the last white male rhino died. White rhinos are now extinct, thanks to poachers and cavemen and women who think hunting prize animals somehow elevates their status. This is not just our planet. Overpopulation is an issue with rattlesnakes. I get it. I get it. And I understand that some of these rattlesnake roundups do measure the snakes and save that information and send it off to Texas parks and wildlife conservation authorities. And that statistic, and I guess those statistics are important, of course. And again, making the anti-venom can never be stated enough how important it is to have anti-venom. 100% in agreement with that. But sewing their mouths shut, beheading them, mistreating them, and allowing small children to paint with their blood is nothing short of barbarism, and it is absolutely disgusting. I will link you to the video. It's a very short video. It's only a little over a minute. Watch it and tell me what you think. And finally, just so that we do have a nice palate cleanser after all that, I shared a story of a sweet little baby chimp who was rescued from poachers, and a little clip of a video of his trip to the sanctuary where he will live and be safe. It's a very sweet video of him bonding with the pilot who rescued him and took him to the sanctuary. Very, very sweet video. I actually cried watching it in a good way. So, after that cruel story, I had to give you a palate cleanser. And so, yeah, that is This Week in Sparkle. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I will link every single story I talk to you about in the description box. I want you to watch the videos that interest you most, and please talk to me. What do you think? I want to hear your thoughts, your opinions. Do you agree with things? Do you disagree with things? As always, all of my social media links are in the description box. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. Hang out with me on Snapchat. In addition, as always, my coupon codes: lashes, makeup, clothes, shoes, jewelry, sunglasses, beach towels, sportswear, whatever you need, girl, boy, dude, man, woman, whatever. I gotcha. Until next time, I love you guys very, very much. My Patreon will be up in the next few days. Be looking out for the launch video for that. And since this week's live stream ran short, I'm going to do a second live stream Saturday night. Be looking for that. Until next time, I love you guys. Y'all stay beautiful.